Hey there, everybody. Welcome to episode 14 of the TCP Podcast. I'm your host, Mackay, and tonight I'm joined by...
This is Old Man Cam here.
And I'm Kiser.
All right, we're going to cover a couple different fun topics tonight. We've got a couple of game releases coming out soon, as well as some plans to discuss with the Xbox and a couple other cool things. But we're going to kick it off with a brand new Sony title. That would be Hideo Kojima's new masterpiece, Death Stranding. And I'm just going to ask this question outright, and you guys can give your thoughts and ideas. But do you think, just on the first week that it's been out, is it a success or is it a failure?
Kiser, would you like to go first?
I haven't actually seen too much about it, so I can't really say. But depending on how much it's sold and the acceptance from the fans, I guess you could say, or the players, then I would say it's a success based on the lack of information that was given initially.
Well, I would say that this game is a success. Looking at the reviews of the game, and just thinking about Hideo Kojima's fan base, I think Hideo Kojima's fan base is an example of a vocal minority, that they think that their fan base is way bigger than it actually is. I'm not saying that if you've played a Metal Gear game and you liked it, you're in the fan base. No. What I'm saying is, until Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, I had never really played a Metal Gear Solid game, and I thought it was amazing. I thought it was great. But looking at Death Stranding, I'm like, okay, I don't have a PlayStation 4. I won't get to play it. I wasn't hurt by that. I was just like, we'll see what this ends up being. And like I said, the reviews are good. It's the best reviewed game on Metacritic as of the time of, as of the time of this recording, of the recent games. So,
Dang.
It's good. It's just, okay, what did they think was going to happen? Did they think this is going to be the new Smash Brothers? Because it's not. It's not like it's a AAA title, but it's not something that is going to define 2019. Could it be Game of the Year? Maybe.
I don't know about Game of the Year.
What I'm saying is, I don't know. I essentially don't know what the potential of this game could be because I haven't played it and I won't get a chance to play it. What I'm saying is, is it a success? Is it going to sell a trillion billion copies? No, it's not. It was never going to do that. So.
Right. And that's true too. I completely agree with your thoughts. I definitely think it is a success within the realm of Kojima's following.
Yes, absolutely.
Outside of that realm, not so much. From what I have heard, and I'm going to be purchasing the game. I have not played it yet, but I definitely feel like the game is directly up my alley. I really do. Essentially, and Kiser, I don't know if you know anything about the game at all, so I'll give you a quick little tiny, just the smallest of knowledge plot synopsis here. You play as a post-apocalyptic mailman. The game stars Norman Reedus, who plays Daryl in The Walking Dead, and it also stars a myriad of different people like Mads Mikkelsen, Guillermo del Toro, and Conan O'Brien makes a cameo appearance. But yeah, so they're basically you deliver packages for the people who need them in a post-apocalyptic world. And yeah, it's super weird. Haven't mentioned the fact that you have a baby in a uterine chamber strapped
Strapped to your chest.
chest. And when the baby gets upset, you literally have to physically shake the controller in order to, or gently rock the controller, because you don't shake babies. You gently rock the controller in order to soothe the baby. And the baby is the connection between the world of the living and the world of the dead. So that's Death Stranding in
That's a good generalization right there of Death Stranding.
Yeah. So and I want to preface my thoughts just on this real quick. Kojima has already, since the game has come out, stated that he would like for his studio to move more into film.
Yes.
As opposed to game production.
That's because Kojima is definitely a filmmaker. You can see it in his game. Sure. Playing, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. There's some filmmaking elements that are
any of the Metal Gear games
really, really good in that game. And you're like, yeah, this is amazing. And if the gameplay was not as good, this would still be fun and interesting.
Absolutely. And I almost... It's kind of hard to discuss, because I almost feel like Death Stranding would have succeeded more if it were a film than if it were a game. Only because there are aspects of the game that are incredibly cinematic. I've heard the first 3 hours of the game, almost 2 hours of it, you're watching cutscenes.
Yeah.
So it's like...
Yikes.
You're playing a movie.
But let me say, Kiser, that the first 2 hours of Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain is basically cutscenes with shooting in the middle of them, and it's really good. Like, it doesn't make any sense, and you're like, okay, this game is gonna be fun. Like, I'm invested in this. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain is one of the best games I've ever played. It's one of the funnest games I've ever played. And it's crazy because I made this distinction with my wife. I was like, Metal Gear Solid 5 is a detailed game that is very fun, whereas, and I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but Red Dead Redemption 2 is a detailed game that is not any fun to play.
Yeah, and Cam and I were talking about that before we started recording. We both played for about 5 to 6 hours, and we're kind of like, you know what, I'm kind of done with this.
Yeah, no fun.
What about, like, similar... Did you guys play GTA 5?
I didn't.
Well, here's the thing about GTA games is that there's two types of GTA players. There's people that go around and build up their star meters and see how long they could last against the police. And there's people that play the storyline. And I'm the former. I've never played a GTA game. I had GTA 2, like the top-down one. Oh. And all I did in that game was try to build up the cop meter and see how long I could survive. I didn't care about the story in the game.
Fair. Yeah. I don't think... I tried playing Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Mm-hmm. I couldn't get into it. I'm not good with... games that take a while to get into.
Oh, it's a slow burn for sure.
No. Here's the thing about the Phantom Pain is that first chapter is like, what is going on? Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
But it does teach you some things that you need for the game. Like, it's not an action game. It is a stealth game. Like, you do not want to get in gunfights in Metal Gear Solid because you will get killed as quickly as a real person would get killed in a gunfight.
Yeah.
So that first level is teaching you, hey, don't get in gunfights. Do this instead. And once you get to the open world is the second stage. Once you get to the second stage, it actually, because the first stage is not fun. Let me say that. I do not think the first stage of Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain is fun to play. It's exciting, it's cool, it's interesting, but it's not fun to play. once you get to the second stage and you're allowed to do whatever you want to do, and once you beat that second stage, especially, and you open up the world, and you can do literally whatever you want. You don't even have to take a mission. You can just go down and just do whatever you want. The game is super fun. Like, because it's just like, okay, we can do missions, we can kidnap people, we can grab stuff, we can make money. It's fun. It's fun. Just, I advise you, if you didn't like the first stage, go back, start from the first stage again, because you're going to have to start it over. Play it again, play the second stage, and once you get into the second stage and try to understand what they're trying to do with that second stage, I think the game will be a lot more fun for you.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see. I got
So
Modern Warfare going on right now, but we'll see what I do.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I bet you have Modern Warfare going on.
That's a nice campaign.
I've heard it's really cool.
Yeah.
I've heard it's shout out to David. He was telling me he beat it in like a day.
Oh yeah. It's like 6 hours.
He said it was pretty
maybe.
short. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he said he said it was a wild ride for sure.
Right. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's more of exactly what you think you want. You get it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So overall, thoughts on Death Stranding? I'm gonna give it a success in many corners and a failure in others. But overall, I think it's an overwhelming success, especially with not knowing what the game was about literally until I think the week before it came out. Nobody knew what the gameplay was like. No one knew what on earth all these different characters were doing in the story. But like I said, I'm going to be purchasing it down the line.
It's a Kojima game. It's a Kojima game. You have to understand what you're getting with Kojima. This guy is he's a movie maker making video games.
Yeah, and I truly believe he is a visionary. Like, I think he's way ahead of his time.
At the lowest level, he's M. Night Shyamalan, and I think Shyamalan gets a bad rap for making some real stinkers. But I think his vision is correct. Like, his vision is, he's a movie maker, and he's creating a world that you have to buy into in order to understand what his vision is. And so that's what I think that Kojima is.
Yeah, and if you look at like the people he hangs out with, like he's not just choosing actors that he likes.
Right.
I mean, Norman Reedus is part of one of the biggest franchises of all time, The Walking Dead.
Right.
You've got Mads Mikkelsen, who is a phenomenal actor every time he walks on the screen. Just he's captivating. He really is.
Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah. Guillermo del Toro is my favorite director.
A visionary director in his own right, is starring, has a starring role in his vision.
Yeah.
Which should give you everything you need to know about any game by Kojima.
For sure. Then you've got Troy Baker as the villain, who,
right.
You know, he's a video game guy, but also one of the leading roles in video games right now. And then finally you got Conan O'Brien. I mean,
he had no idea what was going on. Please tell me you've watched that video.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. There's a video where he goes to, like, he went to Japan and he went to Kojima Productions studios and like got 3D scanned, and he and Kojima are talking, and he's watching the cinematic cutscene for the cinematic trailer for the game, and Conan just looks at the camera and goes, "I don't know what just happened." And then Kojima asks him, "Would you like to be in the game?" And he's like, "Absolutely yes." So that's Death Stranding. We're going to leave that one on the table.
Yes, we should.
Up next, we're going to discuss they're calling it the Xbox All Access packages, and there's 3 of them. Essentially, what you're going to get in this package is it is a monthly fee. You're essentially leasing to buy, renting to own these consoles. And then if you do the Xbox One X, you get all of them have an upgrade option for
if you do the lower ones, it takes a longer amount of time.
It does. It takes 6 more months.
Correct.
So not only do you get an Xbox One in this package, the lowest fee being $20 a month, that's the Xbox One S all digital. Then it moves up to $23 a month for the Xbox One S, and then $31 a month for the Xbox One X. But you're getting Xbox Live as well as Game Pass Ultimate in these packages. So what do you guys think about that?
Kiser, would you like to start on this one?
Yeah, I think it's worth
it. Since you just recently purchased an Xbox One.
Yeah. I think it's worth it I'd wait till the the next Xbox come out, whatever they call it, next year.
Scarlet?
Project Scarlet, yeah.
Yeah. I'd wait till then because I already have the Xboxes I have.
Mm-hmm.
I mean Xbox.
So say you didn't have an Xbox. Do you think this is a good deal?
Yeah, for sure. If you're gonna play it, at least like once or twice a week, yeah.
So just a real quick PSA. This is not currently available. However, Amazon will have it holiday 2020, or right. I'm sorry, this holiday
2019, right?
2019. And then other retailers will have it in 2020.
Right,
so you'll
January.
be able to get
I
this.
believe it'll be January. It would be dumb if they did not have it in January.
Their site says coming to more retailers in 2020, available at Amazon this holiday. So, especially with this promise of a 12-month upgrade, that means that the Scarlet will be coming out in a year.
Well, to be honest, if Microsoft didn't aim for holiday 2020, they'd be doing themselves a disservice.
Oh,
now
for sure.
they could pull a Nintendo and aim for spring of 2021, but they would already have the jump on. I'm sorry, Sony would already have the jump on them if they did that. Right. As I sit here in my Xbox headset recording this video, I'm looking at my logo right now on the screen. But realistically, if they can't get their console out by holiday of next year, they're failing because they announced their console first.
They did. Scarlet was E3 of last year.
Correct. Last year at E3, they let everyone know that they were working on their new console, and if they can't have it out, I feel like at that point it will easily have been a 2-year cycle because they were working on it before Scarlet came out.
They start working on it the week after Xbox One came out.
Correct. Well, I mean, it's one of those situations where they probably went hard in on it like at the beginning of that year or in quarter 1 or quarter 2, like at the beginning of quarter 2 of that year. So I'm thinking at the latest, you're talking March or April of 2018. That's a solid development cycle for a console, and I'm talking all-in development cycle on a console. Oh, yeah. If they don't have it out by next year, they're failing themselves. But weighing in on this particular situation, I think this is a fantastic deal.
Mm-hmm.
We've already discussed on this channel itself that Xbox Live or Xbox Gold Pass or Game Pass or whatever is a great deal.
Oh yeah.
If you only have an Xbox, if your only console is an Xbox, and you are buying games, I don't know what you're doing with your life because you are wasting money.
Yeah.
Xbox Game Pass has so many good games on it. And I'm not talking about just good Xbox games. It has so many good games. Just games that are good that may or may not be available for other systems. It
Yeah.
is good. It is a good value. Like a fantastic value. I have it to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think
basically,
everybody.
what you're telling me is basically for $8 a month for the next 18 months. I haven't done the math on that, but $8 a month for 18 months is in the hundred and maybe it's less than $150.
Yeah.
You're telling me I can get an Xbox One and I don't have to buy any games, and after that 18 months, I can upgrade to the new Xbox. Why would I not take that?
Yeah. I'm considering the One X currently. Like, why don't I just sell our Xbox One S? I'll probably only get like $150 for it, but just throw that into the account that is going to take this $31 a month. That
Right.
pays for like 6 months of it or so. I don't teach math, so I suck at that. But, by then it's only $31 a month, and then you get the next Xbox for
For
free.
free.
That's
Like, oh,
I might be
even if
talking
they
to Whitney about
upgrade,
that tomorrow.
even if they update you, like, oh, you may have to pay from now on. You may have to pay $36 a month. I'm like, why would I not? I
don't
get
know.
the
So-
new one.
I hope they wouldn't do that. I hope there'd be some kind of contract that would lock you into that price for at least some certain amount of time.
So
I'm-
real quick,
I'm
this says there is a double asterisk, and it says special holiday upgrade offer. Upgrading to Project Scarlet is subject to its release and availability at the time you upgrade. Upgrade requires at least 12 payments on your original Xbox All Access contract and purchase of a new 24-month Xbox All Access contract for Project Scarlet. Expected holiday 2020. Offer valid for original Xbox One X with all access through December 31st, 2019. Not available with Xbox One S.
Oh, see, on the original one I saw, it said that it was 18 months for the Xbox One S.
So that's what it says here, but it looks like the Xbox One S would be upgrading to an Xbox One X. So there, let me go to the first asterisk.
Okay.
So, upgrade option after the equivalent of 18 payments for the next Xbox console only excludes... Oh, no, it does say that.
Okay, well, see, we're still in business because you're basically paying $10 a month for 18 months. No, you're not even paying that much. If you get the S, you're paying $8 a month for 18 months, which is still less than
Yeah.
$200 a month, and being able to upgrade to whatever the next console is, this Project Scarlet, after that time. Like, this is a good deal.
But you're not getting
if
it
you
for free.
if you do not already have an Xbox, but you are looking to jump into console gaming, I don't know why you would not do this.
Yeah.
So, the only reason you wouldn't do it is if you didn't want to sign up for another 24-month contract.
I understand that. 2 years. I get it. But
Right.
think about how many contracts you already have, or think
Oh,
about
yeah.
how many things you're already subscribed to, like
Yeah.
your Netflixes and your heck, even specific specific channels have their
Oh, yeah.
like HBO Go and
Yep.
things like that, Showtime and
I
things
just
like
signed up for Disney
people
Plus, so
people are already Disney Plus, right? Disney Plus is gonna be more expensive. Disney Plus is more expensive. And that's not
it's
true.
$7.
It's about the same price as you would be paying for a console and free games on that console that you could not possibly play all of in
What
that
do you
time
mean?
period.
Because
So
Disney Plus is only $7 a month.
Disney Plus is seven. Is it $7 a month? I thought it was
$7
$15 a month.
No, $6.99.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
All right. So I take that back. But
No worries.
all right. So the price that you would pay for Disney Plus and Netflix,
And McDonald's.
Disney Plus and Netflix, you could get a console and more games than you could possibly play on that console.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And there are it's not even like they're just garbage games thrown out there. There are so many good games on Xbox Gold Pass or Game Pass that you like first party games. I'm talking about like your Forza Horizons, your
The Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds is not a console exclusive, but
That's true, but it was free.
but it's free. Monster
5.
Monster Hunter's on there. Gears 5 is on there. Sunset Overdrive is on there. Like, there's so many games on there that you could have that as your only console and never have to buy a game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think that's just really dope.
Oh yeah.
I feel like Xbox has this subscription service that consoles wanted to get to. I think they did it first. I really do. Even if it turns out that Xbox ends up going under or whatever, Microsoft ends up going under, or because Sony
picking a fight with Kiser here.
Sony has the market. I get it, Kiser. You're a Microsoft guy. I like Microsoft too. I like Microsoft more than Sony, but
Yeah.
they're the third place right now. If they end up going under, I would. My fist would be in the air like I was paying tribute to them in the Hunger Games because they did right. They did it. This is what I want for subscription gaming. This is what it has built up to. This is what Sega Channel started.
Yeah.
Xbox has pretty much got it to where it needs to be a viable thing.
For sure. Well, and now Microsoft is publishing games on the Switch too. So they're, even if they become like Sega has and just become a third-party developer, I'm not necessarily sure that they would be crazy upset about that. But, that's a topic for another podcast.
That really is. We need to talk more often, folks.
Yeah, we do. I'd love to crank it up, but life is
hard.
Pretty busy.
Yeah, I get it. I understand.
So busy. Oh my goodness.
So let's move to our next topic, and before we jump into that, Kiser, Pokemon comes out on Friday.
Good for it.
I was gonna ask you, which version are you getting? Are you getting Sword, Shield, or none?
Oh, bless you.
Bless you.
Wait, who is that?
Allison?
Hey, Allison.
Allison, welcome to the cast.
I miss you, Allison.
As do I, greatly. So, Kiser, which version of Pokemon are you going to get?
I don't know. I don't know if I will get it.
Yeah. Well, now that we know Kaiser's not going to get it, Cam, what about you?
Wait. So, I was actually going to bring this up.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, we started Pokemon on the Game Boy, Color or whatever? Right?
Which version?
Is that the first version came out on the Game Boy?
Which
Game
game?
Boy DMG.
What's the color on it?
I don't know. I'm not saying Reese did it. I'm just saying in general, Pokemon started on the Game Boy, right?
Oh, the Game
Oh,
Boy.
yeah. Game Boy,
yeah.
original Game
The
Boy.
DMG.
Yeah. And it was this nice 2D top-down.
Mm-hmm.
You're running some grass, stuff like that.
Describing it perfectly.
You pick your Pokemon, and then
this is my favorite description ever.
and then you just go through all the gyms, everything. and maybe going through a cavern. Anyways, it's been like a 2D top down, kind of 3D-ish type thing. I never got into the 3DS versions, but seeing like the gameplay of this Pokemon makes me not want to play it.
Why? Why you say that? Why? Oh, wait. Why? Why do you say that?
I've seen it's like a full render 3D body.
Have you? Now, let me ask you: have you ever seen gameplay of Pokemon X and Y?
No.
All right, so let me say this. All right, so my Pokemon experience started with the originals. I was in to age me a little bit. I was in middle school when Pokemon Red and Blue came out. Middle school. It came out. It was great. Everybody played it. And then Pokemon Gold, Silver, and Crystal, that was the second generation, came out when I was in high school. And I quit after that. My game died. I lost all my Pokemon. I lost 800 hours of progress. Don't ask. And I revisited it in Pokemon Black and White. And Pokemon Black and White was a lot more of the original kind of style. And then Pokemon X and Y came out. And Pokemon X and Y, in my opinion, is probably one of the easiest Pokemon games I've ever played. But it has this feeling where it's like, okay, everything's not on this simple grid where you're just walking around simply, but it still has the same feeling.
Yeah.
And coming up to Pokemon X and Y, because I've played every game since, Pokemon X and Y still had that same feeling. It just, I think it tried to do too much. I think this game, if anything, may actually be closer to something like X and Y than Pokemon, than the newer Pokemons, if that makes any sense.
So, X and Y, playing through those for the first time when I was in college, it felt like playing Red and Blue all over again.
Yes, it did.
Like it was incredibly nostalgic. It didn't feel like there were a ton of gimmicks, and not that the other ones had a ton of gimmicks, but there were a lot of extra features added in.
There's always gimmicks in Pokemon games. I mean, X and Y that was the first game with Mega Pokemon, was it not?
Mega Evolutions. It was. And I thought the Mega Evolutions were great, if not unnecessary. But, like I said, it brought me back to when I was 4 years old playing Red version for the first time. And I feel like that's what Sword and Shield is appealing to. It's appealing to the fans that have been playing it since they were a child, and it's going to bring them back to that essence, with being more simplistic, with being more or less about, the new Pokemon or the new region. I think it's going to be more just about friendship. I think it's going to be more about what you can do to play cooperatively with other people. I think it's going to be almost like when you were a kid, where you could go to the playground and talk about Pokemon and everybody loved it.
Right. I agree.
And unfortunately, the entire dex has been leaked. All of the starter evolutions have been leaked. And just a ton of stuff for this game has been leaked, and there have been a metric butt ton of people, for lack of a better word, pooping all over Game Freak and Sword and Shield. And
here's the thing
recently,
I would like to say about that, because I do want to talk about that.
Yeah.
I think that people want so much what they want for Pokemon, and I'm like, Pokemon was never that in the first place.
No.
Like, people, especially in the competitive metagame, are always like, well, we want all the Pokemon and see how these new Pokemon stack up to the old. The Pokemon competitive metagame has gotten slimmer and slimmer because of the new things that they've done. The build up to Gen 5 Gen 5 was like the peak of the competitive metagame, the power creep, as they say, where
Yeah.
Gen 5 Pokemon felt really overpowered. And it
Oh
was
yeah.
just like moving into Gen 6 and Gen 7, it's like, okay, I get it. I get what they're trying to do. All right, screw the power creep. They want to make it so that you understand what you have and what you have. And the competitive game should be, all right, what can we do with what we have?
Yeah.
And
And
especially going into Gen 7, the Gen 7's Pokemon felt like Gen 1's, where it's like, why is
yeah.
everybody so slow?
Yeah.
I mean, and I know, Kiser, this is not going to make any kind of sense to you, but
Sorry,
like
dude.
in Gen 7, it's like, all right, if you got base 80 speed, you're going to outspeed pretty much everything in the meta, and it's just like,
Right.
oh, I get what they're doing now. They're trying to change up the meta every season so that it stays fresh. They don't want it
Yeah.
to be like, oh, we're just going to add more Pokemon and see how those Pokemon fare with the other Pokemon. They're like, no.
Yeah.
All right, we have these Pokemon available. How are you going to use them?
Right.
Um,
My new favorite thing about Pokemon nowadays, as opposed to, the like you were saying, Cam, with Gen 5, is that it's no longer about Googling which are the best Pokemon.
right,
It is more about, these are my favorites.
right.
I'm going to choose these 6 and I'm going to have fun with them. And I feel like Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee was the best precursor that we could have had to Sword and Shield,
Yep,
because the battling was non-existent in that game.
right,
Like, you could have literally not battled a soul
right.
until you got to the gyms, and it didn't matter because it was about picking your favorites and having fun with them.
I don't know if you remember, but I remember being, because I picked, like I said, I picked the game back up at Gen 5, and I
Right.
absolutely dominated everybody where we worked in Gen 5 with a team of Pokemon that I liked. They weren't particular top tier Pokemon. They just had good synergy, and I
Yeah.
dominated everyone. I don't think I lost a match in Gen 5 to any
So
human player.
I personally could never get past your Mandibuzz.
Correct. Correct. Nobody ever saw Venusaur. I just put it like that. Venusaur was on my team, and nobody ever got a chance to fight Venusaur. I used to be. Did this disconnect? Can you hear me?
All right, good.
Okay,
Yeah.
it disconnected for a second. Actually, my headset did. But nobody saw my Venusaur, and it was just like one of those things where my team is not particularly top tier. Like, I wasn't running
Yeah.
top tier mons in that team. They just had the right synergy, and I'm like, I feel like this is what Pokemon is supposed to be about. Like,
Yeah.
not grabbing whatever top tiers are out there and battling with them. It's like, okay, every season should be a reboot of, okay, these Pokemon are not in it, these Pokemon are. I remember, I'll give you a perfect example. When Gen 7 came out, before you were able to move Pokemon from previous gens, the the official metagame of Gen 7 was only Pokemon in the Alolan Dex.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Because
And there
that
were only
limits what you
300.
can use to basically a bunch of slow Pokemon
Right.
with interesting things to them. You could use some interesting Pokemon in this because they're slow. It'll still work.
And another thing is that, like, everybody seems to be upset that they're, not all of the Mons are in the game.
Right.
Which,
Especially starters, which kills me because I'm like, yo, most of the starters are trash, but all right.
yeah, like, I don't really care. But if you think about it, the Alolan Dex only had 300, so they
Correct.
managed to pack an extra 100 in for us. So I personally, and like I was thinking about this. Like there's been a new movement on Twitter and on Facebook and Instagram, all these things, where, like I said, people are kind of pooping on Pokemon Sword and Shield and Game Freak in general. There's a new movement out there that's hashtag Thank You Game Freak.
Right.
And it's solely focused on, you guys put in a metric butt ton of work. You guys have spoiled us year after year. You guys have designed these incredible worlds, these incredible creatures that we can all love, that we can all be a part of, and have playground and water cooler talk and battle each other and collect and trade. Why don't we thank these people that have...
Right. This is all... The Pokemon team has always been a small team of people. It's never been a AAA-sized team of people.
No. So, I personally, from the bottom of my heart, would like to say thank you, Game Freak, for everything that you guys have done. And I know none of you will ever listen to this podcast, but you guys have 110% changed my life, and I am more than thankful for everything you guys have done.
What I say to all the people who are hating on this game is, are you going to buy it or are you not going to buy it?
Right.
Because if you're not going to buy it, then what you have to say is irrelevant anyway.
Then
if you're going to buy it, then guess what? You're going to buy it, and you're going to play it. And even if you think it is the Smash Brothers Brawl of Pokemon, because that game is not very good, but it still had some things in it that was like, holy crap, Solid Snake is in a Smash Brothers game. There are things that Brawl does to Smash Brothers that I think are not very good for a fighting game, that Brawl is still like, we got to give it respect. Even if it's not what we wanted or what we liked, I think this is going to be that game. And I really hope that Game Freak is still successful from this game, so that they can come back later and show us that what we think we wanted is not what we wanted.
Right. So, I know more than anything that they're going to be successful with Sword and Shield, just from the Japan sales numbers.
I've pre-ordered it all already. I got Pokemon Shield, by the way.
Me too. So
son of a... I was hoping you'd get Sword.
And shout out to Rosie, she's getting Shield too, so I might end up just getting Sword, but whatever.
I want Mandibuzz, so
Kiser.
I gotta have Mandibuzz.
Well, I want Zamazenta, I want Galarian Ponyta, I want all of the Shield Pokemon, but that's beside the point. Anyways, more than thankful for everybody who works on all the games that we enjoy. I know they don't hear it enough, but that's one of the reasons that Cam, me, Phil, and Kiser all kind of have the Cricket Party, is not only to just talk about games, but to appreciate them for the pieces of art that they are. So, with that said, that is the final topic for this evening. I want to thank you guys so much for listening to the TCP Podcast episode 14. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at The Cricket Party. Do us a favor and rate this podcast as well. You can do it on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast that you guys, or podcast app that you listen to us on. That would greatly help us. And finally, this has been your host, Mackay.
This is Old Man Cam.
And I'm Kiser.
And we'll catch you guys in the next one. And we'll also have more topics for Kiser to talk about next time, too.
Maybe. I mean, I started playing Pokemon Go, so maybe I'll be able to jump in some
There you go. Pokemon. There you go. All right, well, happy Pokemoning. If we don't catch you guys on Friday, and we'll see y'all later.
See ya.